Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing worksheets on straight line. Theory we have already covered. I have added the link in description box. If you haven't seen it, just go and see and then come back here. And if you're already aware of the theory, it's completely fine. You can do this. If you want to practice this sheet first, then this sheet is available on a website which is AkzsiAcademy.com. Before we start this class, if you want to enroll yourself for the doubt sessions that I'm running for GCSE and A levels, you just have to drop us an email at AkzsiAcademy@gmail.com. As well as if you're looking for the classes or if you want to book a demo for any subject from year 1 to year 13, all you need to do is just drop us an email at AkzsiAcademy@gmail.com. So let me start. This sheet will definitely help you for KS3 as well as for GCSE curriculum, and straight lines are also for sets and for other curriculum as well, because I take classes for sets as well for US Canada curriculum. So let me start the class. See this one, this is a very simple question. It says find the gradient and intercept of the following equations. If you want to calculate gradient and intercept, all you need to do is convert them in standard equation, which is y is equals to mx plus c. So you just need to convert the given equations in this form. You have to rearrange. It's just basic linear equations that you have to rearrange. That means it's almost looking like the same. If I talk about for A, the only difference is I need to make y the subject. That means I need to isolate y, make y the alone, and I can do by dividing both the sides by 2. So I'll get y is equals to 7x minus 3 over 2, or y is equals to 7x over 2 minus 3 over 2. It's important to separate them out because we want to know the value of gradient and intercept separately. M is the coefficient of x, that is 7 over 2, and which is gradient. C is y-intercept, that means where the straight line cuts the y-axis, and this is, on comparing, you will get negative 3 over 2. Similarly, I can do for the next one. I need to make y the subject. That means I need to shift 2x onto right hand side. 4y is equals to 8 minus 2x. Now divide both the sides by 4. Y is equals to 8 minus 2x by 4, or 8 by 4 minus 2x by 4. We can still simplify it. 2 minus x by 2. From here, on comparing, I'll get that the coefficient of x is my gradient, which is negative half. Gradient is negative half. And y-intercept is 2. Coming to the part C, 7y is equals to 5 minus 9x, moving 9 onto the right hand side. Divide both the sides by 7. Y is equals to 5 over 7 minus 9x over 7. Converting, now it's completely as y equals mx plus c. M is negative 9 over 7 and c is 5 over 7. Again doing the same. So bring 5y to the right hand side and 5 on left hand side, because we want to make y the subject. So what I'm doing, I'm just shifting y to right hand side. Next step is, if you're a little bit confused, if you're not very good in forming the equation or making the subject, so I'm just doing it by step. Now shift y to left hand side. 4x minus 5 is equals to 5y. Dividing both the sides by 5, you will get 4x over 5 minus 5 over 5 equals y. It's important to divide them separately because ultimately we want to know the value of gradient and y-intercept. So it would be 4x over 5 minus y, 1 equals y. So on comparing, I'll get m is equals to 4 over 5 and c is negative 1. Moving on to the next one, doing the same thing. 16x equals here, or just directly bring 16x onto the right hand side. So 7y is equals to 4 minus 16x. Divide both the sides by 7. Y is equals to 4 over 7 minus 16x over 7. Same, the coefficient of x will be gradient, negative 16 over 7, and here you will get CS 4 over 7. Now doing the same thing here, that means I need to bring 3y onto the right hand side. 7x is equals to 4 plus 3y. Why I did that in this case? Because let me make y positive. That's better. So that's why. And then shift 4 onto left hand side. So you'll get 7x minus 4 is equals to 3y. Dividing both the sides by 3, you'll get 7x over 3 minus 4 over 3 is equals to y. Same, coefficient of x is 7 over 3, which is our gradient, and the constant number is negative 4 over 3, which is our intercept. So this is how you can solve it. Moving on to the next question. Find the equation of a line with gradient 3 and intercept 4. Most easier one. So easiest one is y is equals to mx plus c. Clearly m is given as 3. Intercept is 4. Substitute. So y is equals to 3x plus 4. Question 3. Find the equation of a line when gradient is 4 and it passes through one point. Always, doesn't matter if the question is about the 2 points given, 1 point given, gradient intercept given. Very first thing is, as soon as they ask you to calculate the equation of a line, write down the standard form and that's it. That will give you an idea what you have to do. So y is equals to mx plus c. Now clearly you have m, so substitute it. So y is equals to m is gradient is 4. So it would be 4x plus c. Now we have to calculate c, and unfortunately directly c is not given, but they have given the point. This is a straight line. If there is a point 4, 1 lying on it, that means this point will satisfy it. X will be 4 and y is 1 actually. Obviously 4, 1 coordinates is what? The coordinate of x is 4 and coordinate of y is 1. So here we need to substitute because this coordinate is a locus, actually one of the point of the straight line. That means it will satisfy it. So in place of y, I'll write 1. Why I'm doing this substitution? Because I need to calculate the value of c. To calculate the equation of a line, only two things you have to calculate: gradient and intercept. That's it. Now it depends what conditions are given and accordingly you will calculate it. Y is 1, x is 4 plus c. So 1 is equals to 16 plus c and c is negative 15. I have calculated c. Gradient is already mentioned. Now just substitute finally. So y is equals to m is 4x minus 15. This is my required equation of straight line. Moving on to the next one is the same thing. It says gradient is negative 3 and it passes through point negative 1, negative 2. Same, I'll start with y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient is negative 3. Substitute. I still need c. This point x is negative 1 for this coordinate and y is negative 2 for this coordinate. I just need to substitute the value of x and y to know the value of c. Y is negative 2 and x is negative 1. So negative 2 is equals to 3 plus c and bring it here, c is negative 5. Final equation will be y is equals to negative 3x minus 5. We have substituted the value of m and c. Find the equation of a line when it passes through points negative 1, 3 and 4, 2. Here directly neither the gradient is given nor intercept is given. But we know how to calculate gradient if 2 points are given. So I'll start with finding the gradient, which is m is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 2 and y1 is 3. x2 is 4 and x1 is minus 1. Negative 1 over 5. This is our gradient, negative 1 over 5. I have to do same thing. That means I need to substitute the value of gradient, negative x over 5 plus c. obviously mx. So in place of m, I wrote negative 1 over 5 into x. So I just directly multiply x into minus 1 and got minus x over 5. C, we don't have. Remember what we did in previous question. Where the gradient was already given, we had one point. We substituted that point to get the value of C, and same will do here. You can pick any value. You'll get the same value for C. Doesn't matter. Let me pick 4 comma 2. So here x is 4 and y is 2. Substituting, y is 2 and x is 4. Bring it here. 2 plus 4 over 5 equals C, and finally C is equals to 14 over 5. I don't have enough space, so just let's little messy, but C we have calculated and M we have calculated. So what I need to do, just substitute. Y is equals to negative x over 5 plus 14 over 5 is my required equation. Next is part B. It passes through points 4 comma negative 1 and 6 comma 4, and we have to calculate the equation of this line. Same we have to do. That means first calculate the gradient. M is equals to y2 minus y1. So let me take this as y2. 4 minus minus 1, because this is y1. x2 is 6 minus 4. 4 minus minus will become positive. So 4 plus 1, 5, and 6 minus 2, 4, 2. So 5 over 2 is my gradient. Let me substitute. Y is equals to 5 over 2x plus c. Now just substitute any value in this equation to get the value of c. Any point, either 4 comma negative 1 or 6 comma 4. I am picking 4 comma negative 1. So y is negative 1 here and x is 4 here. So 4 into 5 over 2 plus c. 10 and c is minus 1 is equals to 10 plus c. Bringing it here, c is negative 11. So final equation is, we have c and we have gradient. So y is equals to 5 over 2x minus 11. This is my required equation of straight line. Next is, find the equation of a line passes through a point 4 comma 3 and is perpendicular to the line. Now there is a concept which says if two lines are perpendicular to each other, the product of their gradient should be negative 1. Let's say the gradient of this point be m and gradient of another line be, let's say it's m1 and gradient of another line be m2. So if they are perpendicular, m1 times m2 should be negative 1. The product of the gradient of two lines that are perpendicular to each other, that are intersecting at right angle to each other, is equals to negative 1. It says we have to calculate the equation of a line which passes through this point. It should pass through this point 4 comma 3 and is perpendicular to line this one. That means what is the gradient of this line? If I rearrange it, divide both the sides by 2, you'll get y is equals to 3 over 2x minus 4 over 2 is 2. So gradient is 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 times m2, I need to calculate the gradient of other line, which is negative 2 over 3. So gradient of another line is negative 2 over 3. Okay, so we have the gradient y is equals to negative 2 over 3x plus c. I need to calculate c. This is for that line which is perpendicular to this line. So we know at least the gradient of this line and I have substituted. I need to calculate c, and for c they have mentioned that find the equation of a line passes through a point 4 comma 3. The point is 4 comma 3 on which 4 comma 3 is a part of this line. So obviously it will satisfy it. I can write x as 4 and y as 3. Putting y as 3 and x as 4. So 3 is equals to negative 8 over 3 plus c. Bring it here. So 3 plus 8 over 3 is equals to c. So this is 17 over 3. We have calculated C, we have calculated M, put it finally. So y is equals to negative 2 over 3x plus 17 over 3, because C we have calculated and M we have calculated. What we need to do is just substitute to get the answer. Moving on to the next one. There are 2 points, A 4 comma negative 6 and B 3 comma negative 2 lies on a straight line. Calculate the equation of this line. Okay, if you have 2 points, we just did it. If you have 2 points, first calculate the gradient and then put any value to get the value of intercept, which is C. So I'm calculating gradient first. Change in y over change in x is minus 6 minus minus 2 over 4 minus 3. Answer is minus 6 plus 2, which is negative 4 over 1. Gradient is negative 4. We don't have intercept as of now, so this is why I need to substitute value of M. Now to calculate the C, I can substitute any value. Let me substitute 3 and negative 2. So y is equals to negative 2, x is equals to 3. Y is negative 2, x is negative 4 into 3 plus C. C is negative 2 plus 12. I have brought it here. C is 10. Finally, y is equals to 10x and minus 4x plus 10. Gradient is 4 and intercept is 10. So y is equals to negative 4x plus 10 is the final required equation. Calculate the gradient of a line which is perpendicular to this line. We know they are just only asking the gradient, and if two lines are perpendicular, the product of their gradient is negative 1. So let's say gradient of this line be M and gradient of this line which is calculated negative 4 equals negative 1. M is plus 1 by 4. So gradient of this line which is perpendicular to the previous line is 1 over 4. Moving on to question number 7. This is a diagram given, and specifically it's mentioned diagram not drawn accurately. So don't try to measure or do something. It's not accurate one. Equation of a line AB is given as 7x minus y plus 3. AB, that means this one. This equation is given as 7x minus y plus 3. Find the coordinate of point P. See, it's important. This whole line, their equation is already given, which is 7x minus y plus 3. When this line cuts the y-axis, x-axis, obviously the coordinate of y is going to be 0. And coordinate of x is just x. We don't know what's the coordinate of x, to be honest. It's just x. Y we know is 0. So what I can do, substitute x equals x and y equals 0 in given equation, because we have already known the equation of this straight line, which is 7x minus y plus 3. And because x comma 0 is lying, we have been doing this, that if there is a point lying on a straight line, it will satisfy it. That means that coordinate is definitely the part of this equation. You can substitute it. So we need to substitute in equation 7x minus y plus 3 equals 0. So 7x remains x, y will become 0 plus 3 equals 0. 7x, bring 3 onto the right hand side, negative 3, and x is negative 3 over 7. So what are the coordinates of point P? So point P has coordinate negative 3 comma 7 and 0. Negative 3 over 7 comma 0. Find the equation of a line which is perpendicular to AB and passes through C. We already know the equation of line AB, which is 7x minus y plus 3. What I need to do is just rearrange it. 7x plus 3 equals y. I brought y onto the right hand side and it gave me 7x plus 3 equals y. On comparing, I'll get gradient as 7. Gradient of this line. What they are asking, find the equation of a line which is perpendicular to AB. So we have gradient. We need to calculate the equation of a line y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient of this line is 7, then gradient of that line which is perpendicular to this line is going to be negative 1 over 7. Why? Let's say gradient of that be m1 into 7 equals negative 1. So m1 is going to be negative 1 over 7. Y is equals to mx plus c. Y is equals to negative 1 over 7 x plus c. What I need to do is just substitute the value now for point C. What it says, don't get confused, it's very simple. What it says, there is a line AB, simple. The gradient of this line is 7. And they are asking a line that will be perpendicular to AB and passes through C, which is 5, negative 1. So this is our aim. This line is our aim. So gradient of this line will be negative 1 by 7 obviously. And one point is 5, negative 1. So what I'm doing is, I'm just substituting y as negative 1 and x as positive 5 here. So y is negative 1 is equals to negative 5 over 7 plus c, and c is equals to, bring it here, negative 1 plus 5 over 7, which is negative 2 over 7. Final equation of line is y is equals to c you have calculated, m you have calculated, y is equals to negative x over 7, negative 2 over 7. I know it's a little bit messy. There are two cars traveling after traveling for a certain, they are traveling. After traveling for a certain period of time, they start to deaccelerate, and that's happening on graph you can see. The straight line A shows the information about first car, whereas B shows the information about the second car. Work out the gradient of A and B. Let me start with the gradient of A. Gradient of A. A is this line and this line. 2 points I'm taking are, obviously the endpoints would be grade 0, 20, and this would be 32, 0. So change in y, 20 minus 0 over change in x, 0 minus 32. So 20 over negative 32. If we cancel by 4, I'll get negative 5 over 8. Similarly, gradient of B. This point be 24, 0. And this point be 0, 28. So change in y, 28 minus 0 over change in x, 0 minus 24. This will give you negative 7 over 6. So gradient of these two lines are this. Calculate the difference in acceleration of car A and B, C. The gradient of the velocity time graph will give you acceleration. And you can opt that method as well, because I told you gradient is change in y over change in x. What is written on y? Velocity. Over change in x, what is written on x? It's time. Velocity over time is acceleration. That means you have to calculate the gradient of A, gradient of B, and subtract. And we just did it. Gradient of A is negative 5 over 8 and gradient of B is negative 7 over 6. Difference is always positive. Okay, so always you have to subtract smaller from the bigger one. Clearly negative 5 over 8 is greater one. So what I'll do? Greater one minus smaller one. So LCM of this is 24. This is 15. And this is plus 28. Answer is 5, 13 over 24. This is the difference. Which car will stop first? Obviously, which one is stopping first? This one has a stop first before this one. So, what you can say? car, B will stop first. It stopped after 24 seconds. Whereas other one will be from 32 seconds, after 32 seconds of the acceleration. Moving on to the next one. Question 9, again it says diagram not drawn accurately. Two lines B, D and AC are perpendicular to each other. So clearly they both are perpendicular to each other, so at least we have an idea that we can apply that part, that the multiplication of gradient should be equals to -1. First thing they have asked is find the equation of line BD. Clearly this BD we have, this BD we have, and there are 2 points lying on this, 1,7 and 7,0. It's simple. We have been doing find the equation of line while there are 2 points. So I'll start with the gradient. First write down y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient is m is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 is 7. As I told you, y1, y2 is in your hand. You can write anyone as y1 and anyone as y2. 7 minus 0 over 1 minus 7. So 1 minus 7. Answer is -7 over 6 is the gradient. Y is equals to -7 over 6 plus c. Now calculate the value of c. Put any of the coordinate. Let me use this one. Y is equals to 0 and x is equals to 7. Now substituting the value of y as 0, here it will be 0 and x is minus 7 over 6 into 7 plus c. So this will be 0 equals -49 over 6 plus c, and finally when you transpose there, c is 49 over 6. We have m, we have c. Final equation is y is equals to m is -7 over 6 x plus 49 over 6. This is final equation of straight line. Moving on to part B, find the equation of line AC. See, we know this line AC is actually perpendicular to this line. We just calculated the gradient of the previous one, which was -7 over 6. If I say the gradient of this line be m, so m into -7 over 6 equals -1. So gradient of this line is 6 over 7. So I get to know gradient of this line is 6 over 7. I'll do the same thing. Y is equals to, put the gradient 6 over 7x plus c. Which coordinate? Because c is a part of this one. The coordinate that are part of a straight line, you can substitute it. So substitute x equals 1 and y equals 7. Answer will be y is equals to, there is not much space here, but still 7 is equals to 6 over 7 into 1 plus c. From here, c I can say 43 over 7, and final equation is, here I'm writing y is equals to 6 over 7x plus 43 over 7. This is the equation of line AC. That means this one. The very last question is find the coordinates of point A and B. See, this point A has coordinate x, 0. If this is x, 0, that means y is 0. So in the equation of line AC, because point A is lying on the equation AC, and I can substitute because point A will satisfy this equation. So what's the equation of AC? Equation of AC is 6 over 7x plus 43 over 7 equals y. To get the value of y, I need to substitute, get the value of x, I need to substitute value of y as 0. Because when it's passing through x-axis, or the coordinate of point A is x, 0. So x is x and y will be 0. So it will be 0 is equals to 6 over 7x plus 43 over 7. Bring it here. Negative 43 over 7 is equals to 6 over 7x, and finally x is negative 43 over 6. So coordinate of A is negative 43 over 6 comma 0. Similarly, if we see point B is here. That means coordinate of point B is 0 comma y. Obviously, because it's on x-axis, y-axis, x will be 0. So 0 comma y. Point B is lying on which straight line? On this straight line, clearly. And we have calculated the equation of line BC or CD or BD, which is y is equals to negative 7 over x plus over 6 plus 49 over 6. So y is equals to negative 7 over 6x plus 49 over 6. So as point B is lying on it, this is straight line, B is 0 comma y. So substitute x as 0 and y as y. Minus 7 over 6 into 0 plus 49 over 6. From here, y is equals to 49 over 6. So what's the coordinate of finally B we have calculated? Coordinate of B is 0 comma 49 over 6. So this was our last question. So that's it for today. What I suggest you just go through the video in which I have covered the theory, and then just download the sheets from the website. I have uploaded both the sheets, solved and unsolved, so try to solve it unsolved, and then you can just come here to see the solution. That's it for today. Thank you. Have a great day.